Hey, good morning, everybody, and welcome to Invisible Condition. It's not all in your head. I'm your host, Jeff Pearson, and we want everybody with an invisible condition, no matter what that condition is, to know beyond the shadow of a doubt that you do have a voice, you have a community, and you are never alone. Now, here on Invisible Condition, we get it. Some days are tougher than others. Some days just suck, some days are better than others. I get it, right? On those tough days, on those really tough days, you that's those are the most important days to keep your hope intact, right? Hope is a big deal around here. And so if you feel like you have lost that, and you're like, what the heck are you talking about, Jeff? Hope is gone, man. I don't know where it went, but it's left. Please let me know. It's that big a deal. Like, I don't want anybody to be without hope. So shoot me a message. Shoot me an email at jeff@hydrowithhope.com and just let me know. And I like, just put hope in the subject line or something, I'll and we'll figure it out, because nobody should be without hope. Okay. So I'll email you back. Maybe we could jump on a Zoom call. I don't know, but it's that big a deal. I know how it feels, and I don't want anybody to feel that way. So let's keep that going here. So got a couple people I want to talk to you guys about real quick, and then we'll get our guest on here and go for it. One of the things that I wanted to tell you, where is it? Everything is so small today. I don't know what everything is so small on the screen today. Well, let's go with this first. I am a huge, I'm a huge networker, huge networker guy. And so I do most of it on video calls, like, Zoom and Google Meet and all that kind of stuff. Pitch is another option for that. So if you have ever wondered about other options besides Zoom, because let's be honest, Zoom is not everybody's cup of tea. If this one, you can actually make the screen active, and you can actually transact on the screen during the call. It's really cool. I love it. It's fantastic. So if you want more information, the QR code will lead you to a calendar that you can get on a demo call. So check that out. Also, let's see, which one's this? Nope, that's for our co-host, which, by the way, if you haven't seen a show with our co-host, you totally should. Okay, this one is awesome. So Jake at Simple Gifting Solutions, he works with a company called Cutco Knives. Cutco, they make the best knives on the planet. I'm just going to say it. I don't care what anybody says. They're amazing. My parents actually bought a set of these knives in 1981, a set of steak knives. I was 4. It's been around a while. I'm 49 now. So these knives have been around in their kitchen for 40 plus years. They've never gone dull. I think they broke the tip off one time. They replaced it immediately. Cutco sent them a new one. So if you need good knives in your life, this is the place to do it. Also, if you're a business owner, you can actually engrave your logo onto the blade of a knife and give that as a gift to a client if you want. And it's really cool. It's a business write-off, right? Depending on, I'm no accountant or anything, but if it's for your business, right, you can do that. I think, I don't know. Check with your accountant on that. Don't quote me. But yeah, if you want to give that to your client with your logo on it, it's really cool. And the best part is we have struck a partnership with Jake, where every purchase that's made, he donates a certain amount to our nonprofit, which is amazing. So if you want to do that, it'll help our nonprofit, it'll help Jake, it'll help everybody. It's awesome. So speaking of our nonprofit, yeah, there it is, Hydro with Hope. We are here to help everybody with hydrocephalus with this journal right here that will walk you through that experience of, oh my God, I have to have brain surgery again. It's very helpful, and it's very informative, and it's a really good thing to take with you to your next neurosurgery follow-up, because then you'll have something to say to the doctor and not be completely caught off guard. So this is a donation link for the nonprofit. You can donate once, or you can donate monthly, and we love you either way. So please consider that. And the last thing I want to talk to you about is our studio sponsor, which is Network Referral Group, or NRG for short. if you need more networking in your life and you want a source of never-ending referrals, I'm not kidding, by the way. Um, in 2.5 years, I think there's only been 1 week that I didn't get a whole bunch of referrals from the group. And that's because the guy that owns it, Mike, was on his honeymoon. Other than that, every week I've gotten referrals, not to mention the ones you get when you go to the calls, the Zoom calls. So if you need never ending referrals in your life, this is the purest form of networking I've ever seen. And honestly, they have ruined me for all of the online networking groups. This is where it's at. This is where I get endless referrals. So scan the QR code. Mike will invite you to a meeting, and we'll see you there, hopefully, and you'll get to experience it for yourself. So, all right, here we go. Let's talk about our guest today. Our guest is Andrea Randle, and almost had a tongue-tied moment there for a second. Andrea Randle is the founder of the Compassion Clinic Resource Center, which is a business and leadership. She is a business and leadership coach, corporate trainer, author, and identity restoration coach. I'm sure we'll talk about that. I had never heard of it either. It's cool. It's cool. Andrea has spent years helping people rebuild after trauma, and now brings that experience and expertise to leaders who may look like they've got it all together on the outside while privately dealing with burnout, stress, conflict, loss of clarity, all the things that the business owners, believe me, I get it too. So today we're talking about what happens when the person everybody depends on is struggling too, and how we can begin to restore not just their energy, but their sense of identity and purpose. So I can't wait for you to meet her. Let's bring her on here and get this show on the road here. Let's see. Let me. We can hear you, Andrea. Thank you.
Yes. Hi, how are you, Jeff?
This is awesome. I'm so excited. This is going to be cool. I love what we're going to talk about today. It's going to be amazing. You guys are all going to love it. It's going to be amazing. You just
I
wait,
hope so.
right? Oh, come on. No, don't be so modest. It'll be good. One thing I want to ask you. By the way, wherever all of you are watching from, tune in, pay attention, listen, put your listening ears on, children. This is going to be awesome. And if you have a comment, or you have a question, or you have oh, by the way, LinkedIn, we're on LinkedIn too. I put the wrong graphic up there. Is this one got it? Maybe this has LinkedIn. That's got LinkedIn on there. I don't know. I got to redo some graphics on here. So if you're on Facebook, YouTube, or LinkedIn today watching, throw a comment in there if you have a question or something like sparks your brain and you want to ask a question or a comment. That's the best place to do it, and then we can get back to you. So, Andrea, I do have a question for you that I like to
Okay.
open the show with everybody, because I know everybody has tough days,
Yeah.
especially those of us in the invisible condition world, right?
Right, right.
On those tough days, how do you still maintain hope?
How do I still maintain hope on tough days? Well,
Yes.
for me, Jeff, and I loved your introduction of who I am and what I do.
Hmm.
But I want to go back to the who I am part. So, as a believer, I'm a Christian unapologetically. And so on my tough days, I just remind myself that I am God's daughter. And God, you got this.
Yes.
You got this. Um, because sometimes on my tough days, you want to hit a window or you just want to just veg out. And so I just have to remind myself that I'm God's daughter and that God's got this. And so that
Yes.
definitely alleviates some of the pressure, um and some of the I want to do, right? I want to do this. And God's like, yeah, 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 no, leave that to me. So to me,
Yeah.
that's what I think keeps my hope intact. It keeps my mind intact, and it also keeps me physically intact that I don't do something that I regret. So I'm God's daughter. God, God, you got this. Yeah.
Nice. I love that. That's perfect. That sounds a lot like me. Sounds a lot like I'm not God's daughter, I'm a lot like you in that
Yes,
way. That's where I go to, man.
yes.
I like to say I'm a Jesus follower. That kind of
Amen.
eliminates all doubt of
Yes,
what's actually happening here. You know, you say,
absolutely.
I hate to say it,
Unapologetically. Yes.
nowadays, Christian believer, all that kind of stuff. For
Yeah,
some reason, it still carries some doubt. Like, well, what do you believe in? Well, if you say
exactly.
Jesus follower,
Yes.
that's pretty good.
Pretty,
So
yeah, yeah.
yeah, and I
Right.
love what you said there about plans, man. I have you ever seen the movie or not Bruce Almighty, Evan Almighty with Steve
Evan Almighty.
Carell,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, that is the best illustration I've ever seen of that, where they're standing on the porch of the house, and Morgan Freeman just like is standing there talking to Steve Carell, and he just dropped all
Mighty,
that
a
lumber on his
mighty
right.
spider.
He's my plans, and Morgan Freeman just starts laughing. If you
Yes.
want to hear God laugh, tell him your
Tell
plans,
them your plans.
right?
That's
That's
right. Yeah. Yeah.
so
You're right.
everybody's had that experience, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh man. Well,
God
let's get.
doesn't think like us. So,
Oh
so it does make him laugh like, oh, so that's what you thought. Ha, no, this is what I'm thinking. You're right.
man, I'm so thankful for that, man. If Could you imagine if he had the same mindset we did every day? Oh,
Oh,
good lord,
we'd
we'd
really
all
be
be in trouble.
in trouble.
Whew.
Facts.
Yeah,
Yes,
man.
indeed. Yes,
Well, I'll
indeed.
tell you what. We Let's dive in here. You've spent years helping people rebuild after
Yes.
trauma.
Yes, yes.
So, if you're willing, let's. I mean, what's the story there? I mean, what's your personal story about what motivated you and be so passionate about that topic?
Well, I think that the passion grew over time. I don't think that it was something that was just innately there, right? So I'll give a backstory that I was raised by a single grandmother. And so we lived, I lived during the era of when they had the second riot, and it was considered the LA riot, right?
Mm,
So years or decades before, it was the Watts riots, and then we had the LA riots, and that was
yep.
in the early 90s.
Yep.
So during that time, our apartment was, it was pretty much surrounded by nothing but fires, gang violence, right? And so it traumatized us as small kids. I was about
Yeah.
um, 12 years old at that point in time. It was like 92, 93. And so we ended up, my grandmother made this decision that, to get these kids out of danger, I want to go to the furthest point that I possibly can of safety.
Yeah.
And so make a long story short, she had a daughter who was married to a gentleman that was in the army. And so we ended up relocating from Los Angeles, California, to Fairbanks, Alaska.
That's a change. Yeah.
Say it ain't
Wow.
so. It's like, wow, like really. I mean, and so we're in the middle of this catastrophic, traumatizing, just uncertainty, right? Because there was just so much happening. You don't know how things were going to pan out.
Yeah.
So we go up there, and I will say that, we're kids. She made a decision. She didn't really consult us as children. Hey, do you guys want to live here? And so we ended up living with individuals that were not very kind or keen to
Mm,
us being a part of their space. Okay.
mm,
And
okay.
so with that being said, it was four of us. I'm the oldest of four children. So I'm the oldest girl, and I have two brothers and a sister. So we were subject to a lot of verbal and physical abuse.
Mm,
Um, so not just at the hands of our, I guess, additional parents now, right, aunt and uncle, but also their children. And
oh,
so with that being said, we endured a lot of verbal and physical conflict and abuse from them.
mm,
And with that being said, with the physical abuse came sexual abuse. And this is where my story and my life changed. And for me, it wasn't about not being able to tell someone what happened, because I wrote it out. My grandmother, I told her exactly what happened, when it happened, who was all involved.
Mm.
But I became forced to be a silent to be a silent survivor. And I actually adapted a syndrome from not being able to speak. And so,
Yeah.
because this was my grandmother's youngest daughter who is no longer on this earth at all, and the
Mm.
two main perpetrators are no longer on this earth either.
Oh wow.
So, I will tell you that when God says that He will vindicate His children, He will vindicate His children. And for me, I felt like that was God's way of letting me know I'm going to take care of what has happened to you. And so it altered my whole sense of safety. It altered my definition of family.
Hmm.
It corrupted every ounce of what I thought trust was supposed to be built on.
Yeah.
And so, from that egregious act that was done against me, um, came the birth of a child. You know, and
Yeah.
there was no such thing as abortion because we are Christians. So that would have added more fire, right?
It's like violence upon violence, you
It
know?
would
It's like
have, yeah.
it's yeah,
That's
it's
the best way to look at it. And for me, I went into like protection mode in a way, not even knowing that I was in a protection mode of like, the doctor is saying, do you have a boyfriend? And I'm like, no, I've never had a boyfriend. So when you tell a doctor like you never had a boyfriend, the
what
doctor,
happened here? Yeah.
right, and the doctor
Yeah.
isn't really asking you as a child a lot of questions, but they're asking enough questions to basically gain the answers to their investigation of like,
Right.
how did this happen and who was a part of this? And so, I mean, I'm speaking from an adult now, but at the time, I definitely didn't have the language, the
Mm.
understanding.
Yeah.
I mean, the comprehension just was not there, y'all.
No.
And so, to spare you the details, I was pretty much. I'll give you the age. I was in middle school, and
Oof.
I was the only individual during that time of middle school that was pregnant. So I was put out of school and placed in homeschool to, for one, protect the identity and reputation of the school,
Yeah.
because I didn't want
Yeah.
other girls to think that it was okay to be, an eighth
Yeah.
grader pregnant. Okay, just being honest.
Right,
And
right.
so,
Yeah.
I literally had to grow up with the stigma and the ridicule, being talked about, and no one understood my story. And
Yeah.
so, and there was no one that I could really go and tell my story to, right?
Mm.
Um, and so I ended up going through high school, and I was known as, oh, she got a baby, and and all these, and I wonder who her baby daddy is, and all of those speculations and rumors abounded. They really did.
Yeah.
I mean, and so
Yeah.
when you talk about someone having to wear that scarlet letter, I literally was wearing that scarlet letter, and it was big as day. It had the A all over it, and I walked through that. I was placed in a program that was for teen moms, and so I was able to have my child in daycare, and I was able
Mm.
to go to classes regularly like a
Good.
normal student, right?
Yeah.
But the responsibility, the burden, was definitely far from
Yeah.
your typical high school student.
Right.
And so the home environment was toxic because, it just was unspoken, right? The baby started crying. I look at the baby, my grandma look at me, and it's just an uncomfortable energy in that space. And I wasn't even being taught,
Yeah.
mind you, how to be a mother, other than make sure you change his diaper, and when he cries, make sure you feed him. And so I'm like, well, okay. So I learned from from going to school to this teen parent program of how to be a teen parent. Not
Wow.
how to be a parent, but how to be a teen parent.
Yeah.
So that's
Wow.
a fundamental, truth in terms of where I was at mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and so normalcy was just really never a part of my formative years because that was just not the cards that God wanted me to have in my life. And not to mention I'm being an example for my brothers, my sister, because they were also a part of the eyewitness account, not my.
Hmm.
So the trauma didn't just traumatize me and impact me and affect me long term, but it also affected my siblings,
Right.
and so going back to understanding trauma, it for me it was compounded trauma. It wasn't a singular act or a singular event. It
Yeah.
was when I look back and it was like, wow, all of these happened. Not having a mother and father in the home, not having that motherly nurture, not
Yeah.
having a male figure in the home, but now I'm being placed in a home with a male figure, right? So that's a trauma all in itself. So when you really start trying to unpack this suitcase of life, you begin to see where the ripples really turned into waves and then into a tsunami. And
Right.
so
Yeah.
and so
Well, yeah.
go ahead.
Well, and it's compounded, right?
Yes.
Because not only did you're in junior high, which
Yes.
people are people are just crazy
Hmm.
in junior high. I mean, junior hires don't have their head on straight anyway. I mean,
Right,
come on, let's
right.
be real. They don't have
Yes,
their brains not quite developed yet. I mean, high school, college, even.
right.
You're not develop. Your brain's not totally developed till you're in your 20s. So junior
Exactly.
high, having to understand this and having to
Mhm.
deal with all these other kids that are around you that don't understand it, and
Right.
you already get ridiculed enough in junior high.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's a cruel place
Yeah.
by
And then to
itself.
give them something to
Right,
ridicule you
exactly.
for. Yeah, yeah.
Even with nothing to go on,
Hmm.
they can still find ways to be cruel.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
yeah, so that must have been
Oh, it
absolutely
was horrific.
crazy.
It
Yeah,
was uncomfortable.
yeah.
Anxiety abounded. I didn't even know what anxiety was back in the 90s, right?
Right.
But I just
Yeah.
knew that I didn't want to walk through crowds. I would
Oh,
have panic attacks. Didn't even know what a panic attack was.
right.
I
Yeah,
just knew that, oh my God, I don't, I want to wait till everybody clears the space. Then I'll go to class, which makes me
right.
late, but not really knowing that I'm having a panic attack. I'm in this full blown anxiety driven state. And
Yeah.
so,
Well,
you know,
let me just pause for just one second because I want to make sure that we talk about this QR code right here because I put your website on the screen. I want to
yes.
make sure that we don't neglect that because I want
Okay.
people watching to be able to know what they're going to when they go there.
Yes.
So please, everybody, take your phone out right now and scan that QR code so that you can go to the website,
Mm-hmm.
Andrea's. So what are they going to find there when they scan the QR code? Just tell them a little bit about what.
They're gonna find out a little bit more about me. They're gonna know the why behind the Compassion Clinic organization and why I have decided to align my life path with helping others, not just women, but also men. We don't talk about
Hmm.
the traumas that men have that are very similar, but men and women to overcome their traumas, to gain clarity. And for me personally, real clarity comes when you understand who you are living this life for. God provides clarity. He does.
Yes.
And he can give you a depth of understanding of why you've gone through what you've gone through and the purpose behind it. And so I've come across so many people wanting to know what's my purpose? What's my purpose? And then we start looking at what they've been through. And then it's like, what you've been through has given you the depth of expertise that you don't get out of a book.
Right.
So now
Right.
go and help somebody else overcome what you've endured. and what God
Yes.
allowed you to persevere and come through. And
Nice.
and
Yeah.
so for me, that's really the depth of why, and even with the Compassion Clinic, I want to be very clear. I didn't give myself that name,
Mm.
and so so God gave me the vision for this organization in 2016. When he gave me the name, the Compassion Clinic, I was like, okay, I'm not a doctor. Like what is this?
Right.
And he really began to really pour into my heart and in my soul that there are so many more people that I would reach that never go to a doctor, never go to a therapist, and talk about the very issues that we and that you are talking about on your platform and in your inner circles and in your networking groups, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
so the Compassion Clinic is a place where people can come and experience real compassion and real love and real understanding around the things that they have become a silent survivor to. And that
Yeah.
they developed this silent survival syndrome because no one was being kind to them. And like myself, I wasn't being kind to myself. I was very
Right.
hypercritical. I was all of these things that would be detrimental to my own growth. And
Right.
so
Yeah.
God spoke to me and said, you haven't showed yourself compassion. And so during this time when he gave me this word, he was letting me know, I want you to allow others to see and take them through the process that I've taken you through to show yourself love and compassion because I love you and I'm compassionate towards you. And,
Yes.
and and by his love and his compassion has he drawn us to him, right?
Right. Yeah.
And so this
Exactly.
is this is where this organization and what we stand for was birthed out of because my trauma may not be another person's trauma, but it doesn't negate the fact that there's still purpose and that there's
Right.
still a plan and there's still hope and that
Yes.
somebody still needs to hear what you've overcome and what you've been through. And so
Totally.
it's taken me 40 years, literally. I'm a little over 40 now, but
Yeah.
it's taken me, all of these years to muster up the strength, the courage, the boldness, and the identity to say, you know what? That's what happened to me. That is not who I am.
That's right.
And it,
I
it
love
took
that.
me a long time to shed that. It would my heart muscles would just tense up and I would get the flutters in my heart of like it racing when I would think back about what I had endured and when I would
Yeah.
look at my child. And I'm telling you, when I say that I am a living testimony and I am a walking miracle, those are not cliche phrases. It is
Nope.
a real truth that I didn't get broken and I didn't get destructed.
Yeah.
Destruction didn't come based on what I had endured. You know,
Right.
God allowed me to turn that pain into real purpose. And it was him. I was able to go to college on a full ride scholarship to Clark Atlanta
Nice.
University.
Wow.
I was and I had no one to show up for my graduation from college. Matter of fact, I had family, quote unquote, again, family calling the college to see if I was even enrolled. Like,
Oh,
why?
jeez.
What's
Like
the
you were lying about going to college. Come on. Oh,
and I made the dean's list twice, and there was no one there to celebrate these achievements, right?
man.
And so when you talk about resilience, right? Resilience has become such a saturated word.
Like a buzzword almost,
It's
you know?
right.
It's
It's
like,
become a
yeah,
buzzword. Like it's
yeah.
like what? Why? But resilience is really God's ability to rescue and restore you back to a place that now you can breathe. Now you can actually become something. You know,
Yes.
God said, the enemy tried to stretch you so far to break you, but it because of my ability to restore you, I allowed you to bounce back. And so what was designed to break you only bounced off of you. And so for me, that has been my life story, is that wherever the enemy was trying to stretch me to the point of trying to break me down, break me mentally, break me spiritually, God
Yeah.
was like, not so, not so. And so he never allowed me to get to that breaking point.
Well, in case everybody hasn't heard, I read the end of the book, and God wins.
God
So,
wins. God
so,
wins.
so no matter how much of a leg up the enemy thinks
Mhm.
he's only got a certain number of arrows in that quiver. He
Yes,
is not original. He is just persistent.
exactly.
So he
Yeah.
can't come up with new stuff very well. He
No, he
just
just
tried chipping away at the same stuff he always has. So God
absolutely
wins.
he
Okay,
wins.
everybody. I just want to let you know.
But
So
the other aspect of that story, Jeff, is that
yeah,
we also win.
yes,
We're on the side of victory.
that's right.
And and that's something that I had to understand for myself. When God
Sure.
says you wear victory, you wear
Yes.
that, you put that on, that's your protection. You are victory. In me you're victorious, you walk in that victory. And
Yeah.
so for me, I just have utilized all of what I have learned from him.
Yeah.
Yes, book knowledge is powerful, y'all. It
Heck
is.
yeah. Yes. Sure. Sure. Sure.
It's powerful, but it's never going to be as impactful when it meets the cross. And
Yeah.
so my book knowledge in conjunction with my walk with God has allowed me to emerge as this woman who looks like I have it all together, but it's only God's grace keeping me. It's only God's grace that has kept me. And so, when I am speaking to people, I'm humble enough to know that it's only God. But I'm
Yeah.
also brave enough to be able to pat myself on the back and say, "Girl, you keep giving it your best try."
That's right.
And so this is where, when you talk about hope and you talk about resilience, you can't have both of those words operating at the same time without Jesus being right in the middle, holding out both his arms, saying, "Hey, I got your hope and I got your resilience,
That's right.
just follow me." And so that's the story of my life.
I love that. Well, and one of the things that came out of it is something you've created, which I think we should definitely touch on because
Yeah.
we haven't talked about it yet, but
Okay.
it's important. Is the case model, right? So compassionate
Yes.
advocates for spiritual enrichment, right?
Yes.
So that's part of that.
That is.
Talk about that a little bit. Where does that
Oh,
come in?
right. So when he gave me the compassion clinic, he actually gave that acronym and the understanding behind it. And
Nice.
so the compassionate advocates for spiritual enrichment is it's an accredited certified training that individuals can acquire through the compassion clinic and be able to walk alongside someone else and become that compassionate advocate for them. Being able to be a good listener, knowing, so you learn a lot of the basic skills of being a volunteer counselor or a
Mm,
peer counselor, but you're doing it from a purely faith-based lens. You learn how to speak with someone and pretty much open up your heart and your mind to allow them to be able to open up their heart and their mind. And I heard something today that was so profound. And this gentleman, his name was Brooklyn Boone, he said vulnerability is what allows for pure communication and breakthrough to flow.
that's
I thought
awesome.
that was so
Nice.
wonderful.
Yeah,
Because that in order for you to be able to open up and get the breakthrough you need, you're gonna have to get vulnerable. And so the compassion advocates for spiritual enrichment, these are individuals that are they are equipped, they're trained to be able to be trusted. They're
Yes.
trained to have a good ear, a spiritual ear, and they are trained to be able to hold that heaviness that you're carrying so that you're no longer being bombarded and bound down by years and years of pain and being misunderstood and really like you're walking this life by yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. No, nobody wants that.
Nobody wants
By
that.
yourself is a lonely thing, especially going through that kind of stuff. I mean,
We were
that's
not
where, and
designed that
there's
way.
so many people that are silenced. But I mean, we've had so many people on
Yes.
this show that have been through
Hmm.
from the first season all the way through now. We've
Yeah.
had people on that have talked about and had so many, but that's the one, so many different experiences. I mean, sometimes
Yeah.
it's in the military, sometimes it's with family, sometimes it's with friends,
Yeah.
with the sexual abuse. But
Hmm.
the commonality is everybody says,
Yeah. Yeah.
don't you
And
dare say anything because it's got to stay in the dark, it's got to stay in the secret,
And
and
I
one.
learned something, Jeff, is that
Yeah.
sometimes people don't even have to do the shh. The spirit that is attached to that type of egregious act,
Right.
it forces that person into that silent survival syndrome because it care that type of act carries shame, it carries embarrassment, it,
Automatically almost, yeah,
it
it's
does like
yeah.
it does. And
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
no one even has to say,
Yeah.
don't tell mom or don't tell so and so. It just puts that dirty cloak over you to
Mm,
where it's hard to put into words what just happened to you. And
yeah.
then the next question is why me? You know? And so all of that is a part of that spirit. And so when I'm listening to people that have endured that level of attack, I understand why they didn't say something, especially if they are in the military. Because case in point, that was my story. They were in the
Yeah.
military,
Right.
or if they're in law enforcement, or if they are in these power-driven or presumably power-driven roles. It's like,
Yeah.
well, I don't, the whole community may come against me and call me a liar, or no one's
Right.
going to believe me. So all of that is attached to that spirit that forces you into that silent survival syndrome. And,
Yes.
and it does, it takes years, it takes effort, it takes God to take that off of you. I mean, literally wash you clean,
Yeah.
purifying your thoughts, your mind, your emotions. Because I had to forgive. And
Oh
that's
yeah.
something that we didn't even cover yet. But it got to a
Oh,
point in my walk with God where God said, now forgive them. Oh my goodness. What?
what?
Talking about
Whether they're sorry or not,
like
right?
forgive them. No, no, you mean they need to be asking me for, but as I gained my footing with God, right? I'm walking in his footsteps and I'm learning him and I'm understanding him. The forgiveness wasn't about them.
No.
God is saying, I want you to walk in freedom in me. And the more you drag this pain and these memories and this hurt around when I'm walking with you, I can never give you what I really want to give you. So
Yeah.
I need you to trust me enough to know that it's okay for you to forgive them. And
Well,
I'm telling you, I had to forgive
yeah.
everybody.
What, there's a long list. Yeah. No.
Mhm.
Well, with forgiveness. So what? Yes, I am so on board with what you're saying here,
Yeah.
and what I've learned over the
Mhm.
years with forgiveness is it's on me to do that. It's
Yeah.
not on the other
Mhm.
person because they might not even be with us anymore, right?
Right.
Like you
That's
said,
true.
some of the people that were perpetrated against, like they are not even here anymore. So
Right.
if you wanted to forgive, it's not about them wanting that
Hmm.
forgiveness. It's about you wanting that freedom. It's like you have to say, I choose to forgive and I
Hmm.
choose to take that emotional pain and consequence on my and give it to you, Jesus, to
Yeah.
take care of it because they're not going to do it. And if you
No.
want freedom for that, it's like carrying unforgiveness
Yeah.
is like drinking poison yourself and hoping they die.
I'm gonna
You
give you
know?
a real good example of what you're saying. So,
Yeah.
of course, the two of the three perpetrators never said a word. They left this earth, never saying a word to me.
Oh,
The mother, the mother, I had a vision about her, right? Because God does give me dreams. So I'm having this real time dream, and I'm in the hospital. I didn't even know that this lady was in the hospital. Okay, and
yeah.
she is my aunt by blood, my
Okay.
grandmother's daughter.
Yep.
Didn't even know she was in the hospital. So I'm asleep and I'm having this real time dream. I'm at the hospital and I'm sitting in this chair by her bedside. And it was in this vision that God, like, literally spoke through her mouth, because she never said nice things to me. But in this moment, she was basically telling me that you're the daughter I never had,
Oh,
and I
wow.
wish I wish things were different. And she says, "I'm sorry."
Mm,
And that was it. I'm
wow.
sorry. And I mean, I didn't get a chance to say anything back. I just was there, you know.
Yeah.
And so and she did pass in a very horrific way. She was outside. The heat was, yeah, from what I was told. I was not there, so this is allegedly, right? That's the key word, allegedly.
Allegedly. Yeah.
Allegedly, she died in Arizona heat of 115 degrees, because they had bought a vacation type home, and she was on vacation for the summer. It was hot, and God took her life while she was outside in the heat,
Wow.
which could be indicative of a lot of things, right?
Yeah.
But allegedly, I wasn't there, but that was what I was told firsthand. And so
Wow.
for me, I was told after that dream to go outside, speak her name, and release it. I had
Yes.
never done that. I felt so awkward and weird. I'm like, go outside?
Right?
Like,
Why?
so
Yeah.
I'm like, okay. So I go outside on the balcony of my home, and I say her name, and I said, I forgive you. I
Yeah.
release every ounce of hurt that you've caused me. For me, it was like to be able to have her, have me release that off of me. It was the most freeing moment of my life. And I haven't had any negative thoughts. I haven't had, I mean, nothing ever since that day. And that was like 2001, 2,
Wow.
that I was able to do this. And absolutely powerful moment that God was allowing me to let go in such a way so that He could have more capacity in my mind, in my heart, and not the things that happened to me.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's amazing. I mean, it's true. I mean, everybody's gone through something where
Mhm.
they probably know in their core, in their heart of hearts, that forgiveness is the answer,
Right.
right? Forgiveness is the answer, but how do you do that? The how is the part that people don't
Hmm.
know, and that's what keeps them stuck, I think.
Right.
And
Right.
so, and I love that you said it out loud,
Hmm.
because as a Jesus follower, I
Right.
am of the firm belief that the enemy can't read your mind.
No, he
Like,
can't.
right? He is not omniscient like
No.
God is. So you got to say that stuff out loud. You
Yeah.
got to
Yeah.
speak the name, speak the words out loud, so that
Yeah.
he knows that the enemy doesn't have a hold of you anymore.
Exactly.
And I love that. That's perfect.
And
So
there's a spirit of intentionality, because I'm
yes,
intentionally saying your name. I am
yes,
calling you by your identity, right? Like, and so that speaks volumes too, because it's like you're not calling this person, you're specifically saying you, like.
right.
And so there is definitely an intentionality behind it. And at the end of the day, God is simple, and He wants us to live simple, but it's when all of these complicated things happen to us. It's just,
I know. Yeah.
yeah,
Well, it's complicated because we don't, especially when you're small, man, when you're in middle school,
yeah.
you don't understand what's going on. You don't
No,
know. That's why you didn't have language to put with it. You had no idea what the heck was going
yeah,
on and or how to deal with it or anything, and nobody was helping you. So
no,
I'm so
no.
glad that God
Hmm.
came in and said, "All right, look, this is what we got to do.
Yeah.
This is how we do it. This is what we're doing." I mean, He knows you better than anybody,
He
so who
does.
better?
And I
You
got
know?
to a point at one point, Jeff, where we don't talk about suicide enough in a way to where those thoughts, they come and they are not abnormal. Okay? When you go through stuff, those
Oh
thoughts
yeah,
come.
yeah,
So it's
yeah.
not abnormal to have suicidal ideations. It's the part when you act on it, right?
Yep.
And it's the part when they just don't stop, when they don't they just don't, those thoughts don't move. But I got to a point when I was about 16, almost 17. I was like, God, I'm done. Like, I wash my hands of this is not what I asked for, right? Like, I'm done.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
was like full blown focused. I'm gonna do this. And I'm telling you, this is when I had my first real, I'm talking about tangible encounter, not the wind or not a voice, so
Yeah.
I'm at this window and I physically feel this man like pull me back from this window.
Ooh,
And I was the only one at the house. I was the only one. There was nobody else there.
yeah.
And to have that happen, and not only did it happen, and it happened in a way to where I know God wanted me to know it is me. I don't want you to think that it's something else or someone else. It's me. Because He says, I want you to go in the bathroom and I want you to wash your face and I want you to look yourself in the mirror and smile. Those were His instructions to me. And I'm thinking, what? And He said
And
it
this was,
every
eh,
time.
eh, I'm sorry, I got to back up for a second. You said you were standing at the window and he pulled you back. Why were
He
you standing
pulled
at the
me back.
window?
Yes. And
Why
it
were you,
was so much love. It was
why did
like,
he have to, why were we standing at the window? Why did he
oh,
have to
I was
pull you
about
back?
to, I was done with life.
Oh,
That
you were
was
ready to
all.
jump.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
jeez.
wanted to jump. That was
Ooh.
my exit point and I'm done
Oh,
with this.
no. Oh,
And
no.
oh yeah, that's why I said, you know, that's real. It's
Yes.
real. And
Yes. Okay, that makes a lot. That's got a lot more impact now. I was wondering. That's what I thought you were going with that, but I
mhm.
didn't. I wanted to make sure you verbalized it. So,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
because like I said, people go through hard things, and suicide becomes like, I'm thinking about it,
sure.
and those ideations come, but it's when they don't leave that it becomes a problem. It becomes the
Yes.
abnormal point. But
Right.
I was there. I didn't even have a continuous thought of it. I was just impulsive with it. Like, I'm done. I'm
It's
done with
out.
this,
Yeah,
right?
we're done.
And
Yeah.
and,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
when the Holy Spirit pulled me back, it was so much love. Matter of fact, my room lit up like it was like extra light,
Wow.
like it was extra extra light. And when He pulled me back, it was a depth of love, a depth of just, I can't even put it into words. It was like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh. And that's how He wanted me to know this is real. This is happening to you.
That's
I am
amazing.
real. And
I
so
love that.
when he told me to go, and so I had to wash my face, I had to look in the mirror, and then I had to smile. So those are three distinct actions, right?
Yes.
And so I did them in
And
the order that it was spoken to me. And I'm gonna tell you something that happened for
and by the
all
way,
of you.
one second, real quick. We got about three. I got about 3 minutes left of this, and then we're
Okay,
out of time. So I just wanted to make sure we
okay.
kept an eye on
So
it.
when I washed my face,
Yes.
looked in the mirror, and I smiled, y'all, he let me know that I had not been looking at myself for years.
Yeah.
I could brush my teeth, wash my face, but I was never looking at myself. And he wanted me to see me how he saw me.
Nice.
And it was so powerful. It was, I mean, yeah, that shame and that keeping my head down, it's like he took that away that day.
That's
That day.
awesome. That's
Yes.
amazing. Oh, I love that. I love that so much because he can do that. He's
He
done
can do
that.
that.
He's
And he
done that for
will.
me in several areas in my life
Amen.
over the last couple of years too. There's things he's, like I like to think about it as took the hooks out,
Yeah.
like unhooked from that, and like,
Amen.
okay, that's no longer a thing. You can let that go,
Let it
you
go.
know. So
Walk in your
yeah,
freedom. Yeah,
it's amazing,
walk in God's confidence. And that's what I took away, that I'm walking in God's confidence now.
right?
And that's who I am and what I've been doing all these years.
I love that.
Yes.
Well, in the last, I'd say minute, maybe
Okay.
two,
Okay.
that's what we got left. What would you like to leave our audience with in these last minute or two?
No matter what you have gone through, God was there all the time. He was there. And it's not about why does God allow bad things to happen to good people. A great God has always been by your side, because we can never compare an imperfect human to a perfect God.
Mm,
And so he's there and he's with you, and he wants to bring you out and bring you higher up in him. There is better for you.
mm,
Yeah.
that is amazing. It's true. It's true. That's well
Mhm.
said. There
Yeah.
is better for you.
Hmm.
There is. There
Yeah.
is. And
Yeah.
by the way, if anybody out there watching is wondering about that,
Yeah.
you can know Jesus too.
Absolutely.
It is 100% in your hands, and if you I we I wish we don't have time, but if we did, I mean, if you are curious about that, please reach out. Go to scan that QR code that's on the screen.
Mm-hmm.
Email me at that email address that I showed you earlier. This one right here. Let's
Yes.
see, that one right there. Email
Hmm.
me. Just put Jesus in the subject line. We'll take
Amen.
we'll take care of the rest. We'll get you on a call. We'll get this figured out
And we have an
because
event coming up on
yeah,
8/29 called Give Yourself a Yes. Come to
nice.
that event and experience giving yourself a chance to walk out the yes that God put in you. You
And
can
that,
do it. Yes,
and
you can.
and I would think that that information is also on your website.
Yes. It is.
Yes.
Yes.
Perfect. Oh my gosh. What a way to tie this one up, man. That was amazing. I'm so glad that we got to do it. Andrea, thank you so much
You
for
are so
being
welcome.
here and for being so real and so open and being
Yes.
such an amazing testament to what God can do. Thank you.
Amen. Amen. Thank you, Jeff.
Absolutely. Oh my gosh. Oh, so cool. So, all right, I'm gonna leave this right here just for a second, while we talk about something here. But I'll tell you what, I am very, very excited that we got to do this show because this is a big deal. This is a subject that really, really doesn't get talked about enough. So this is great. So thank you for being here. No matter where you're watching from, if you're watching on any of these platforms, I hope you took advantage of it, and I hope you put comments in and like, hey, I got a question about this or that. We'll get back to you, man. Andrea will answer you. I'll answer you. You just throw those questions out there, and we're here for you. So thank you so much for watching. No matter where you're watching from, let us know where you're watching from. By the way, I love seeing that on the comments. Like, hey, this is where I am. We'd love to know. It'd be so fun. Join us for our next episode, which is coming up on Tuesday, September 1st. And, that'll be another amazing guest with a great story. And I can't wait to see you there. And until then, have an amazing day. And we'll see you soon.